In a bid to reduce Nigeria's dependence on imported pharmaceutical products, the federal government and the European Union have signed the Made in Nigeria, Made for Health part. Vice President Kashim Shettima, who was represented in a message, says a nation's true wealth lies not only in its natural resources, but in the health and productivity of its budget and economic planning. Abubakar Bagudu says a credit guarantee agency has been established to support local manufacturers.
We have created a Nigeria Credit Guarantee Agency because we recognize the need occasionally that some partnerships will require us providing some guarantees to our domestic players.
The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, represented at the event, notes that local production of health commodities is not merely an economic strategy.
If we continue to leverage the existing political will and we continue to do the right partnerships, we will meet the target of that roadmap before halfway mark of the ambitious plan.
European Union Ambassador reaffirms the EU's commitment to helping Nigeria strengthen its pharmaceutical production.
But more than anything, we want to support the paradigm shift taking place in Nigeria and West Africa, moving from aid to peer-to-peer collaboration, from standalone projects, however important, to a dynamic investment strategy.
It also goes well beyond the fact that pharmaceutical products represent 15% of our Belgian export.
The Vice President says the partnership between the federal government and the European Union reflects the power of collaboration and solution for regional challenges. Anthony Momodu, Arise News.
Well, for more on efforts to boost local production of pharmaceuticals and the Made in Nigeria healthcare products, we're now joined by Dr. Obi Adigwe. He's the Director General, National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development. This agreement, as I've just read out to our audience, is Made in Nigeria, Made for Health. But realistically, what is this about? Is it just packaging or bottling of essential medicines and vaccines in Nigeria, or are we producing from scratch? What exactly is it?
So, two very big misconceptions were dispelled today in Abuja by this big announcement. The first is that Nigerians and the world of science are not learning from the lessons from the pandemic that hit us a few years ago. The second and a bigger myth is that Nigerians cannot produce vaccines. I would have you know that over 100 years ago, in 1913, 1914, when we had one of the biggest rinderpest outbreaks in this part of the world, which killed about 6 million herd of cattle, where the country that the world reached out to take care of producing vaccines to control that rinderpest outbreak was Nigeria. In a city I was born in, Jos, a few miles in Vom, that particular institute was set up, and that particular agency produced vaccines for several years and was consequential to making sure that rinderpest was eradicated. Fast forward a few more years in the early 90s when smallpox was also eradicated. The government facility in Lagos also played a major role. Granted that Nigeria fell off in the 90s and the early noughties. What we decided in this administration is that we must make Nigeria the center of local manufacturing, the center of world-class science, and the center of being able to use our own capacities to take care of our solutions. And so during the COVID pandemic, the Ministry of Health brought out a brilliant policy document. But as you know, sometimes these policy documents end up as beautifully bound documents on shelves. And we sat down with the European, few of the countries under the European Union and said we must develop a strategy where we can have real partnerships, not just tokenist partnerships, real partnerships to grow together, to make sure that we can take this policy, implement it, and make sure that companies can begin to manufacture. I will have you know that that particular roadmap was launched a couple of years ago, January of last year, I think, so almost 2 years ago. And already from my field visits, there are 4 companies situated across Nigeria that are moving full steam ahead to leverage the roadmap and make sure that they can produce vaccines in Nigeria within the next 5 years. What this agreement says is that it's not just good enough that you manufacture the vaccines. Do you have the science? Do you have the training? Are there researchers that can work in the field to bring in new interventions to be manufactured in these companies? Lassa fever is originated from here. So why are we sitting back and waiting for the rest of the world to give us solutions to that? What this particular intervention is also telling you that we've seen other parts of the world where you spend millions of dollars producing vaccines, but because of misconceptions, because of scientific, the war on science, these vaccines are produced and people aren't using them. So we are the world leaders in ensuring that things like vaccines hesitancy are addressed even before the products come out. So the plan looks at the entire ecosystem, moving from the, what do you call it now, the original R&D all the way to manufacturing and into the community. And then looks also at things that would influence the value chain, things like political will. You can have the brightest scientists, and if your policymakers do not align with the interventions you're bringing on board, you will not be successful in ensuring that those interventions actually impact on people's lives.
Thank you for watching. For regular updates in the health sector and female research and development, click on the subscribe button right now. Remember to like and share as well.